This starts the meeting, the regular meeting for the Livingston Parish Council for February 9th, 2017. If we could all stand, please. Mr. Lobel, did you have someone to do this?
Yes, my pastor, John, would volunteer to give the invitation.
I'm encouraged that we have a part in being the church, getting to come in and be involved, and it's encouraging to know that you start your meeting with prayer, and so let's do that now. Father, we come before you and we thank you for your love. We thank you for your grace. Father, we ask now for your insight as our community, as our parish. We seek to honor you in the things that are done in this place, and so we look to benefit our communities in your word and in your truth. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Watson, would you lead us in the pledge?
Surely, Mr. Garlinghouse, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Teal, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Lobel?
Here.
Mr. Everett? Mr. Mack? Mr. Ard?
Here.
Mr. Wascom?
Here.
Mr. Garlinghouse?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Talbert?
Here. All right, I would like to take this time to anyone, if you have your cell phones on you, would you please turn them off or put them on mute, like I did halfway through the first meeting with you guys. I also want to remind everybody that if you have anyone on the public wants to address anything on the agenda, just raise your hand and be recognized, and we'll come to the podium and we'll hear what you have to say. All right. Item 8 is the adoption of the minutes for the January 26th, 2017 regular meeting of the council.
I make a motion to adopt those minutes.
Motion by Mr. Wascom. Second by Mr. Harris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 9 is the parish president's report. Mr. Ricks.
Thank you. Yeah, just an update on the road program. We're winding down the 2016, or winding up, I'm not really sure which way that is, the 2016 road program. And I know you all have been adding some roads along the way. We are starting, and actually I think Billy's here. Well, they are starting to look into the roads now that it's on the priority list to start, or on the list to start prioritizing those. I'm not going to give any money accounts right now because we're still kind of making sure of where we stand as far as our taxes and things. I feel very confident we're going to be able to go ahead and start and move through the road program and keep moving forward with the 2017 road program. But I want to wait another month or two. I just as a being cautious, I just want to make sure we stay like we are now. Right now, we're doing very well with our taxes, so I think we're going to be okay. Billy, do you want to come up? I'm not sure if y'all had any questions. It's really just an update. Just wanted to let you know that where we are. I know y'all have been meeting with me.
They all have to add to the list, and we just, want to make sure they didn't want to add anything else. I think they're all.
Okay. Billy, I think the good news is we are going to be moving into the next phase.
We're gonna have a point in this meeting later on where we can add to the road list. Is that possible? You want to do it now?
Can you do it under just?
I got 2, and they're short, but they're both entrances to subdivisions that are seriously deteriorating. And I was approached by the homeowner association of both. Ardalls from Highway 16 to, is it Dalpha? Did I pronounce that? And then Kingfisher from Cane Market to Sandpiper. Both of the entrances of those subdivisions, Fontainebleau and Easterly Lakes, are deteriorating, and they're both on the inbound side of the road. So it's really, you got to find some area to define it. And it might be a, might be a minor repair, but both of those particular entrances on the inbound side of those subdivision entrances are deteriorating. And so they've been asked to be put on the road list. So.
How do you say the first name again?
It's R.Dawes, D-A-W-E-S.
Gotcha. I know exactly what you're talking
and
about.
it's from 16 to Dalpha, which is D-I-A-L-T-H-A.
Billy, if you have just a section that may be I don't know, a quarter of a mile of a road that's, you know, where a dip was, and now it stayed underwater for a long time during the flood, and it's in bad shape now. How does that work?
That should fall under our other program where we're looking at it for FEMA.
FEMA.
Yeah,
I knew
those
that we
roads
had-
are all being assessed, so hopefully that's part of it. If you'll, I guess, talk to Mark here, talk to Mark or make
There-
sure.
No, he just ate and
Is there
left.
any headway on that? I know we had directed Alvin Fairburn to identify
We should
like
be
10
getting-
roads.
We should be getting, he's actually moved, I think, all the way across, so we should be
Okay.
getting a report soon on that, on what roads. Mark may already actually have it.
Yeah, well,
But I don't.
he cut out, you know how it is.
Yeah, eight, like.
All right, go get off the man's cage now.
Thank you, Council. Mr.
better.
Fred's gonna handle the adjudicated problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake.
To vote.
We need to vote. Okay, so,
Yeah,
we need to, need a
Motion
motion
to add
to
those
add,
roads?
is it R?
It's R-Dog
16
to Dalfa, and then Kingfisher from Cane Market to Sandpiper. That's the main road that the subdivision comes off to the first crossroad. They can evaluate that stretch of road, figure out what needs to be.
I'll second it, if that's a motion.
Any discussion from the audience? I've got a motion by Mr. Talbot, a second by Mr. Waskett.
Nope, that's good,
All
go
in favor,
ahead.
say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. It was
Add for consideration.
B, item B, 9B. Sale of adjudicated property to adjoining landowner.
Hey, good evening.
How you doing?
I'm great.
So this is we wanted to sell some, we have some adjudicated property that's adjoining to, or
Yeah, so what we have, like I said, is this was already in the works, and what we deemed it no value anymore to the parish itself. So we had an offer by the Boothers to go ahead and buy the property and stuff. So I went out and inspected it, and they fulfilled everything on the checklist that we needed to do. All I'm asking tonight is permission for us at the parish to go ahead and sell them that property.
any
I'll make a
questions?
motion to sell that.
Any
Yeah, it's my
discuss-
district.
is there-
I'm sorry, yes. it's
Yeah,
Kingfisher, I'm
and
sorry.
what you need to tell us.
It's an ordinance, and we need to
Read it.
introduce it and set a public
Introduce it.
hearing.
Do
We
it.
need to read it by title.
To sell it, people adjudicated?
Oh, yes.
All right, come on.
Yes.
Sandy, did you read that by title?
Yes, this will be proposed ordinance 17-02. It's an ordinance authorizing the Livingston Parish Council to declare certain adjudicated property surplus and to authorize the sale of said property to adjoining landowner C.J. Boudreaux Jr. and Mamie S. Boudreaux. Their agents are assigned for the price of $30,000, in which property is described as follows. The public hearing will be Thursday, February 23rd at 6 p.m.
All right.
Any discussion from the audience? So I had a motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Talbot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fred.
So then, this is the introduction?
Yeah.
Yes. Item 10, we're on now. Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness, Mr. Harrell, but
I think you want Mr. Sam to take care of that.
Mr. Sam, you gonna take care of that?
That was coming.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. Mark takes care of our grant funded bridges, and you and I take care of these other bridges. So this is just to accept the low bid from sea land, or what is it, sea?
level.
Sea level.
Yeah.
To give the parish president, authorize the parish president to enter in a contract with these guys. And I think you have the low bid on it at $557,858. Quite a bit of money. We've got to put a temporary bridge across this thing to keep the traffic flowing. So that's where some of the extra comes in. It's going to be a two-span precast bridge put there in Old River in Miss Tabb's area, in the back there.
Sam, has this got the box culvert?
No, sir.
So they didn't,
No, so this is going to be just a two-span bridge.
Yeah.
It's not
500,
box.
pardon?
It's not box.
It's not box?
No, sir. It's precast. But we have, it's just a bridge.
Okay, are they gonna do any kind of shoring up around that, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's eroding on that side over there.
Now, we're not talking about Denham, John. We're talking
No, this
about
is
Old
Old
River
River.
down in Marpaw.
Oh, okay, all
I'm sorry.
right.
Is this thing called for wood pilings to set the precast on, or they driving concrete?
No, it's concrete.
Concrete
So
pilings
Everything's
to set
it'll
on?
be there.
We don't do
It's
wood
gonna be
piling.
rated,
No more wood
rated back down.
Okay, good.
Trying to take a bridge.
All right, so
Mine first.
any discussion from the audience?
It's east side.
Any further discussion from the council of merit?
No, thank you.
All right.
I make a motion, we accept.
Have a motion. Have Mr. Lobel, need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Harris down there on the end. Ms. Sandy, could you call the vote?
Mr. Lovell?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Goinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Sam, do you have any information on the bidding for that bridge in Denham?
Well, we advertised 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We advertised 2 weeks ago, and we're kind of talking a little bit about, trying to get FEMA to play a part in this thing. So we should know more about that, John, I'd say in another couple of weeks.
Is that the one behind Dew's too?
Yeah,
The
on,
one that's causing the cut
Yes.
through in the cemetery?
Yes.
yes.
Why don't they take that road and that other road that's one way and make it two ways and solve that issue?
I don't know.
You know about Minton Street? Minton,
The
that
one
goes
next
by
to
the cemetery?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, the one next to the.
Are we still talking about item 10?
Oh, yeah, I just asked the question.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Chairman, we running on.
Thank you, Sam. Just,
Item 11,
What we did.
Planning Commission recommendation, Mr. Sampson, you can do it.
First on your agenda is South Creek subdivision. This is a preliminary plat. This is in Mr. Bubba Harris's district, 100 lots on Wax Road. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary plat for South Creek subdivision contingent on receiving the subdivision and street name approval. Has that happened yet?
I don't know if it's happened, but we use them.
Yeah, it's just something minor.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure we put it in the motion.
Where's this, does anybody know where the sewer's going to this?
I had the paper on it, it's going to,
Is it going to a MODAD system, or is it going into?
Collection line gravity systems, so gravity system.
yeah.
It's on your,
Is it
Oh, it's
tied
on
in
the
the
next
denim?
page.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
They got a note on here, it's going to a gravity system.
Probably done, okay.
yeah, it's going to go to Springs.
Yeah, I read it somewhere and I don't know where.
Okay, good.
it's at, so.
And just to be clear on the resolution, it's to clarify the name of the subdivision too, right? Or I know it says South Creek subdivision, but it was the, I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah, it says contingent on receiving the subdivision and street name approval.
Right.
So the subdivision has to be, the name of the subdivision has
The
to be
name of the
approved.
subdivision is going to be South Creek subdivision.
Okay,
The
but that's
street
gotta be
names-
approved.
The street name's gotta be approved, to make sure there's no duplication.
The subdivision name and the street name.
Oh,
That's
strip
that's what we're
subdivision.
trying to clarify.
So do we need to approve that
Well,
before?
the building permit, we're Chuck and those guys do it. Well, I just don't know if we got the official letter from them.
Okay.
You know, they
I mean,
check 911.
we wouldn't have to do it again if the South Creek subdivision isn't right?
Well, y'all just couldn't do it contingent, I guess, yeah.
And then you guys will make sure it fits, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
Sure, there's no conflict.
We'll make sure we get a letter from the building permit office to Chuck and them, making sure it's not a 911 duplicate. That's what
Okay.
we're looking for.
right, okay.
Any further discussion?
I'll offer that.
All right. Any discussion from the audience? We have a motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Wascom. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B.
Next on your agenda is Angel Concrete Group. This is commercial development. This is in Mr. Tracy's district. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan for Angel Concrete. This thing is going to be located on 190. It's going to be west, right west of CEI, right there across from CBI. So it's right there in the heart of the commercial world. You shouldn't have a problem at all.
Shouldn't get any calls about light shining on somebody?
You shouldn't. The only lights that's going to be shining is across the road at
Okay.
CBI.
And it's my understanding, this is a
So
temporary site, like they move it.
it is a temporary site, but I believe they're gonna want to stay there because it's just such a good area. It's, you know, it's all commercial there.
Sam,
There's no residential.
do you think they might, have you talked to them about leaving their location in Denham and going over there, or they still keep them both open?
Well, I think they're gonna relocate from Denham. I think they're moving out of there. I
That's the
see a
plan.
for sale there in front of their
okay.
facility, so I'm assuming they're leaving.
You move that
And they're
tax
gonna
money
come to
water.
Walker.
Yeah,
Right.
well, they take that noise away from Denham too.
Yeah, we've been hearing about that enough, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion? Any from the audience? All in favor, say aye.
Who made-
All opposed? I'm sorry.
Did you make a motion?
Motion. Second.
I thought I did that, okay. Motion by Mr. Ard, any second? Second by Mr. Talbot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C.
Okay, next on the agenda is Oak Hills Estates, seventh filing. This is a subdivision with improvements. This is in Mr. Gary Talbot's district. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary plat for Oak Hills Estates, seventh filing.
Chad, it says collection line to an approved sewer treatment system. Didn't the Oak Hill system get isn't that part of the plan, isn't that system part of the deal that's getting, the run the force main, all I gotta do is convert the plant? It's gonna go to 2. Okay, and then look, this one of these subdivisions, y'all ever been to Oak Hill? Y'all got to drive forever.
I've been
to get- You gotta drive to the back forever.
It
I mean,
takes a
this is one of
while.
those subdivisions that needs 2 entrances, but we can't make anybody have 2 entrances. I talked to Mr. Falk the other day on the phone. They're actually trying to find, I think they've identified, they're trying to work out the legalities or whatever, a secondary entrance, not for the public, but in case of emergency. During the flood, everybody in the back of Oak Hill was cut off from the world because their bridge went underwater. And because of the situation with respect to safety and some other things, they're working, they think they've identified a way from 16 into Oak Hills through another piece of property for a road just for the purpose of emergency response. And I asked him to do that. I talked to Billy about it because, trust me, I've gotten tons of phone calls about more traffic on that bridge. And, you know, did we figure out if there was any damage to that bridge during the flood yet or not?
I didn't get somebody over there yet. Probably.
But, so I've asked that. So I'm gonna recommend that we approve it, but we've got to address these subdivisions with hundreds and hundreds of houses in them with 1 entrance.
Yeah, how many does that one have there, Gary?
Shoot. I don't know. How many votes has Jim got? We can probably figure
So that's something we would have to change our building ordinance, right?
I mean, there's a bunch
Started in my time, and it's still going in Bubba's time.
there's a bunch. When we approved the 6th filing, we thought that was the end because they put T-turns in the back. And then we realized that they own 30 more acres next door to it. So we're generating another 77 lots in this filing. There's subdivisions in the whole parish don't have 77 houses in it. And the 7th filing Oak Hill's gonna have 76 houses in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a huge subdivision with 1
One way
entrance
in.
and a bridge.
I think that bridge was evaluated right after the,
The bridge was evaluated back in April when everything was fine, but it hadn't been evaluated since the flood.
I think Mr. Sam, I called him,
We did go out there, but that was before the flood.
was it?
Yeah, it was before the flood. So, I mean,
I think
that's.
Shandon sent their structural guy out there.
Yeah, we need to check
We
that
checked the
again.
rate prior to the flood because of the 6th file, right?
Yeah, we had it was checked before that.
So,
Well, we need to do it again.
So
Okay.
anyway, I make a motion to approve.
I
I'll
second.
You can do it. You can
Motion
do
by
it, go
Mr.
ahead.
Talbot, second by,
I do have one quick question though. Isn't there a wooden bridge? Seems like I remember. Is there a wooden bridge up in there somewhere?
It's a concrete cast bridge, but the pilings are wooden. Am I right, Chad?
Yeah, that's correct.
If it had concrete pilings, we wouldn't even have to worry about it, because it's got timber pilings, it's gotta be evaluated.
I'm sorry.
I second the motion.
Second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion from the audience? Yes, ma'am. You step forward.
Good evening. My name is Danielle McKinley. I'm a resident of Oak Hills Estates. I ask that before you approve this proposal, that you do find an alternative entrance for us. There have been instances where there have been a fire. We cannot get into our homes. It now takes 3 to 5 minutes to exit onto 16 because of this one entrance. Sometimes the line is 10 to 15 cars long. So I think that we should kind of look at an alternative entrance before approving this.
Ms. McGinley, well, I agree with you 100%. However, legally, we can't stop them. We've asked the developer to find an alternative emergency entrance for us, but we legally can't make him do that. Trust me, we checked it out. There's nothing we can do to stop him. And for us to delay him and him litigate it just would cost us legal fees. I understand your situation, and that's why I talked to Mr. Foster about finding the alternative route for us. And he's promised me that they're working on it to try to secure that for us.
We don't have an ordinance that requires so many homes to have a second entrance. Maybe we could send something like this to an ordinance committee
I think we should.
and put so many homes and start some
I
type
think
of
Monday would be a good day.
requirement. But I mean, as of right now, we just can't do it if there's no law.
Correct, but I think it's something that should be
Sure,
considered for
absolutely.
future.
We definitely.
We're in excess of 300 homes, and it does get a little hectic getting out
Yeah,
onto.
I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am. How many homes?
Right at 300, and then we have, that's not including the sixth filing of 30-something homes, and then the seventh filing.
It's gonna be over 400,
76.
over 400 some homes in that subdivision with one entrance.
One entrance onto a major, bad, busy part of 16.
Correct.
Well, is there another place out? I mean, is there another way? Do they?
It looks like the old sewer treatment plant,
That's a good point.
there's an old sewer treatment plant, and that plant abuts the property, looks like it's being leased by Southern Agriculture. So they're working on trying to work a resolution to solve getting access from 16 to the subdivision. You know, nothing's cut in stone, but
An
they're
alternate.
route, it's not for the public.
Not to use every day.
An alternate route for emergency response type stuff.
So they could,
There's absolutely, at this point in time, no way to get a public road through there. But they're trying to work alternative through private
Southern.
property, some agreement for emergency response situations.
And then following the flood, it was 3 days before we were able to get out of this
Oh,
subdivision.
I know that they were shuttling boats back and forth across there. I know it was a bad situation for y'all. And we're trying to resolve that situation as best we can. But, through the contractor and private property next door.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for coming out tonight.
Any further discussion? We had a motion by Mr. Talbot, right, and the second by Mr. Matt. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's it.
Mr. Chair, I think that Southern Lights contacted Miss Sandy here to ask you guys to add an addendum on the agenda for their projects in and out, mostly in Livingston Parish. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sites that they've asked for approval. These sites have been reviewed by our review engineer, and he's given them the okay. They got on the agenda, or asked to get on the agenda a little bit too late. They didn't realize they had to get on it as soon as they did, but anyway, I think Ms. Sandy put the addendum in here in your package, and it's up to you guys to, I guess, Ms. Sandy, if you want to do them one by one or do them all at one time,
Do that all at one time.
I think you can do it by
that's up to you,
consent
Tracy, I
if
guess.
no one objects.
Because there's different locations here. They're throughout the parish, and they should we notify them here where they're at, as far as you guys are concerned. But everything's been checked out.
This is the same company that's coming down Dunn Road now?
That's correct.
They do have a representative.
I've been getting, I've been calling you about some of the,
I think they just left Kane Market or on Kane Market now. They're just throughout the parish.
Yeah.
And as Mr. Talbot's concerned, it's in the plans that, you know, if these things ever have to be moved, it's on their nickel. They're aware of that. If you've got any questions, we've got the two folks here to answer.
All right,
Like I
so-
say, our review team has already looked at these things, and I think they give us thumbs up.
I'm good with this, but we can vote on these all at one time. All right, but I am going to read them all off, so just so you. Okay, so adopt the resolution, this is pretty lengthy. Adopt a resolution to allow Southern Lights Fiber LLC to place fiber optic cable within the public right-of-way as the following. A, North Oaks Medical Center of Denham Springs. B, North Oaks Medical Center of Livingston. C, Verizon in Satsuma. D, West Livingston to Walker Road. This is 2B, West Livingston to Walker. This is a building down, that gets down Friendship Road in Buck Carroll. Central City to Walker Road. This is a building down Amy Church Road that also needed for North Oaks Hospital. Duff Road in Walker in District 7. This is a 1,200-foot build down to West Call Road to provide service to a cell tower. And G, Hess Road, which is in District 2. This is a 2,000 build down Cloverleaf Drive to provide service to the cell tower. Any discussion from the council?
Is this, what will this be carrying, these fiber optic lines? I see it says Verizon for Satsuma, but is that the same for all of them, or?
No, sir. So it's a backbone essentially that we're building all through Livingston Parish.
Sorry, what was your name again?
I'm sorry, I'm Donald Cooper from Sunlight. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So you're laying them, and then other, like AT&T and others can use these lines? Is that?
Well, AT&T has their own definitive lines, but yes, anybody can buy service from our fiber optic.
So this will be carrying internet as well? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
It is.
it'll increase capability for people that live in these areas?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So that's good. That's what I was checking.
I think it major improvement over.
Any further discussion on the council? Any discussion from the audience? Not need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Wassum, second. I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Let's see. Can I put that on you, Mr. Thank you, sir.
One
Mr.
more.
Sam?
Grab your hands, Steve.
Item 12, the board reappointment
Yes, for
for
Carter Plantation CDD. We have 5 members. One of them is asked to step down, and we would like to replace Mr. David Anderson with Mr. Dale Condra.
Okay. And, all right, so we just need a motion to appoint Mr. Dale Condra. We don't have to, Mr. Anderson's term expired, so we
Yeah,
don't
he's
have to.
expired, and so
All
we're
right.
just going to replace him with Mr. Dale.
All
I'll
right,
make
so
that
I
motion.
got a motion for,
Tab, you gonna reappoint everybody else?
yeah, we can go, we have to do this one first.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, let's get Mr. Dale approved, and then we'll reappoint everybody else as well.
So I have a motion by Mr. Lobel, need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wascom. Any discussion from the audience? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Go ahead.
And then we'll reappoint Mr. Gillis Wyndham, Mr. Michael Semino, Mr. Maurice Welch, and Mr. Ricky Jubin as well.
All right. Need a motion? By Mr. Lobel. Motion by Mr. Lobel. Second? Second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion from the audience? Any from the council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Item B, Fire Protection District Number 1 reappointment. Mr. Shane Mack.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. Yeah, I just got two reappointments. Mr. Benton Morgan, great guy, does a great job, excited to reappoint him. And Mr. Gary Glasscock, great guy, does a great job, excited to reappoint him. So I'll make a motion to reappoint both of those guys. It's a 2-year appointment.
Motion by Mr. Mack, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wascom. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C, Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau Tourism Board reappointments.
Yeah, I've asked for this one, Mr. Chairman. I have an appointment for the Visitor Bureau Tourism Board. That appointment was held by Miss Bridget Rushing, and I'd like to, the term has expired, and I'd like to reappoint her for another 3-year term. Again, but the same person, but a different name. She's been remarried, so her name is Bridget Gilbert. Bridget, and I think Miss Sandy already has the contact information.
All right. I also have an appointment that expired, is Mr. Dean Lawrence, and I'm going to recommend that we reappoint Mr. Lawrence. We can do these together.
Mr. Hayward asked me to handle his for Mr. Richardson. He wants to reappoint Mr. Richardson. And I think you got a letter, don't you, Sandy?
Yes,
All right. And Mr. Richardson, what's Mr. Richardson's first name?
David, Mr. David Richardson.
All right. Do I need a motion? No.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Mack, second by Mr. Wascom. Any discussion in the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D, Livingston Parish Sewer District Board appointments.
Trey, Mr. Chairman, I think that you might have had one and I had one left. I think you done yours last meeting,
I
I
did
believe.
not, I delayed because I was unclear on the time they were supposed to meet, but I later cleared it up. My appointment was Mr. Larry Tarver.
All right, and I have one tonight, Mr. Juno, who's currently in the room. He serves on Sewer District 1, but since that's taken over by Sewer 2, then he'll be my appointment for Sewer 2. So, Mr. Juno, can you get with Miss Sandy and make sure she has all your information after the meeting? Thank you.
And those are going to be the replacement for Tom Hall and Kyle Parker. Because I reaffirmed
Yes.
Mike Dugan.
But it's essentially a whole new board. so
Right.
yeah, okay.
And this is,
And Mr. Tarver's in the audience too, so he's my neighbor and a fine man, fine, good man. So I need a motion to accept Mr. Tarver and Mr.
Juno.
Juno.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. King. Need a second? Second. Second by Mr. Lobel. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 13, correction of the
Mr.
minutes.
Chairman.
Oh,
Do we need to say anything about Mr. Faulkner and Mr. Dugay? If they're being reaffirmed?
I think we already, did we already do? No, I don't guess we did.
They're
They-
part of Sewer 2 already.
Okay,
So we don't, I mean, I was just clarifying the Mike Dugan thing so that when I had 3 appointments on the board, I just wanted everybody to understand who was being replaced and who was being kept. But they're still part of Sewer 2.
Would you rather us
You don't
reaffirm?
need to vote to maintain.
They're already there, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
wouldn't
I
hurt.
think her clarification, I wish it
Well, there's no
was, if it's a new
expiration
board
date on their
altogether, should
appointment,
they
so-
be reappointed or you can
Because
just
we're
move them over?
consolidating.
Well, they're
Since we're
merging
going
and
to the
consolidating.
Consolidated. Let's reaffirm.
Well, I mean,
And then we
he
won't have
said
any
we don't have
problem.
to, so,
No?
It doesn't hurt.
all right, well, we will.
Good, take a second.
All right, motion to appoint, or it wouldn't be reappoint, so appoint Mr.
Mike Dugan
Mike
Asa
Dugay
Faulkner.
And Asa Faulkner.
and Asa Faulkner.
and Asa Faulkner. Faulkner. All right, I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Talbot. Any discussion from the audience? Any discussion further from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Okay, that's official.
All right, item
Just to
13,
be safe.
correction of minutes from the June 15th, 2015 regular meeting of the previous Livingston Parish Council, LPR number 15-169, correction of fire protection district number 9, term expiration for Brian Solian. Sully. Minutes indicate expiration date to be June 11, 2017, and correct term expiration should be January 1st, 2017. Mr. Lobel, I think I just pretty much explained everything for you, but.
Yeah, Miss Sandy just
You
needed
want-
this done for some
Do you want me to-
clarification.
Clarify, please.
Okay, the former council didn't have some of the boards, the expiration dates staggered, and Mr. Moody advised and provided excellent research on each one of the boards about
Sure,
how
that
the
was
board members should be appointed and how their terms should be staggered. And the person who did this before, from the last council that did these minutes, she just was grabbing a date. She didn't realize that she needed to look at what was previously done and stagger the year, not the month and the day. So it messed up their time that went with everybody. It should have been January 1st, and the day that she was doing the minutes, she just grabbed that date, June 11th, because she just thought it should be whatever she picked, I guess, I don't know. So we just need to fix the minutes, that's all we need to do.
Fair enough. I need a motion to fix the minutes.
Amend the minutes.
I have a motion by Mr. Watson,
second.
second by Mr. Tower. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 14.
Can we pass over this for a second?
Right.
Can we pass over this for a second?
Absolutely. We'll skip to item 15. If I forget to come back, remind me. Reduce the speed limit in Richmond Place subdivision from 25 to 20. Mr. Talbot.
Oh, yeah, the homeowner association contacted me and requested that we lower the speed limit in Richmond Place subdivision from 25 to 20. I gave Miss Sandy, it's a long list of streets.
Made it big so you could read it if you wanted to. I can read it.
Wow.
Do we have to read it? Can we just do
I
the
can read them
resolution?
for you. It's not a big deal.
I mean, it's all right. Go ahead, you can read it. I mean, it's just a long list of streets.
Just for the record, it's Melrose Avenue, Devereaux Drive, Destrehan Avenue, Sarasota Avenue, Beauvoir, is that the correct word, Beauvoir?
Well, Boulevard, yeah.
Drive, Williamson Avenue, Hummus House Avenue, Chapel Hill Drive, Petersburg Drive, Norfolk Avenue, Norfolk Drive, Greenville Avenue, Portsmouth Drive, Riley Drive, Lexington Drive, and Lynchburg Drive.
Did they give you a reason why?
A lot of houses in that.
Well,
neighborhood,
because it's just congested. I mean, if you've been in Richmond, the setback on the houses is close to the road. I mean, the setback's at the minimum. The streets are at the max, minimum width. I mean, the whole area is just congested. There's, they just feel that the homeowners association feels that they've got kids, a lot of young kids playing in there, and they just requested that they lower the speed limit.
Is that a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tower, second by Mr. Wasson. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item 16. Discussion, did you want to?
You back with us yet?
No, well, I would just like to say something about that. I put that on the agenda.
All right, let me do discussion and resolution of blighted and abandoned homes and properties left deserted from the aftermath of the August 2016 flood.
Let us have it, Bubba.
Well, anyway, I put that on the agenda. I had a few calls about some homes that people felt wasn't gutted in a timely manner or whatever. But then whenever you stop and get to considering the situation, a lot of people may not even be back where they can do anything to these homes at this time. And it could be from an insurance reason, or they hadn't got FEMA money, so it's a lot of different things. So I'm gonna draw that off of there, and we're not gonna do anything right now at this time. come up later on.
Bubba, I'm getting calls on the same thing in different subdivisions.
Right.
I think it's a little premature right now.
Definitely.
I agree.
We're gonna have to address this pretty strongly in the future.
Yeah.
And we'll know by the, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be the end of the year before we can
I
address
think there's
it.
still people who are trying to get their
Figure out
FEMA
what they're gonna
trailers
do
set up
too.
straight.
I mean,
So,
what you gonna do in
yeah,
life?
I agree, you know,
I'm getting the same thing, folks, that people
Yeah.
are just getting their
Well, I mean, we had
flooding.
thousands and
Parish
thousands of
wide,
houses
but I
in
mean,
flooding.
you gotta give these people
Time.
a chance and an opportunity to try to get back into their homes and all. And I, you know, I feel bad for the ones that's not able to do it right now.
Me too.
Give them a chance.
That's terrible.
I was fortunate, I'm back in mine, so.
all right.
All right,
You wanna come work
We'll
on
go
that?
back.
we'll hit that again later in the year, I'm sure, several times.
Item 17,
That's gonna be rough.
I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
No, I'm just saying good work. I hadn't seen the finished product.
Okay.
You like that?
Introduction for the consolidation of sewer district number 1 and 2. And this is a introduction of an ordinance. Mr. Moody.
Sandy did all the hard work.
You like it though?
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Mr. Talbot, do you want to?
No, it's just cleanup work from what we did last year and then the election, and it's just, you know, getting the final touch, so one of the few things we've got to do, we've got this and one other item and we'll be done.
All right, sounds good. This is just an introduction, so.
I'll make the motion, you need to read it, don't you?
Yes.
Reading, sign number.
All right.
Okay, this will be proposed ordinance 17-03. This is an ordinance amending and reenacting Article 3, Sewerage Districts, Division 1, generally, Division 2, District Number 1, Section 17-45 through Section 17-177 of the Livingston Parish Code of Ordinances by amending the legal names of Sewerage District Number 1 and Sewerage District Number 2 to be, it says no, it needs to have an N after it, to be known as the Livingston Parish Sewer District, and consolidating the boundaries and legal description of Sewer District Number 1 to be incorporated into Sewer District Number 2. The public hearing will be February the 23rd at 6 p.m.
Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? If not, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion, combining the two and renaming it Livingston Parish Sewer District.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Wascom, second by Mr. Talbot. Ms. Sandy, would you call the vote?
Mr. LaBelle?
Yes.
Mr. Averett is absent. Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Item 18, the district attorney report. Do you have anything to report?
Report.
Excellent. Item 19 is the motion, I need a motion.
We got two addendums, A1 and A2.
Do we want to go back to Cooper?
Oh, if you want to go back?
Jeff didn't respond,
We'll just
so
defer it.
we're gonna defer it for him.
Yeah.
All right,
He
so that
didn't
would be-
tell me specifically about that, he told me about the other, so, yeah, he's still on shutdown, so just defer that.
I spoke with him earlier this
Did
afternoon.
he tell you you wanted it done?
And he said, please tell Mr. Talbot. if-
Okay, let's make a motion, let's go back to 15 then. I was just trying to verify, because we talked on the phone, he didn't tell me that.
All right, so item 14 is Cuba Wheat Road speed limit reduction from 25 to 15. And
Obviously, he's having problems over there, and the people on the
Yeah.
street want it lowered, so.
Just
I
make
make the
it where the
motion to
sheriff
make the
can-
motion to lower it.
Address the
Second.
problem.
motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion from the audience? Any further
No.
discussion from the council? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Awesome. All right. Let's go to the addendum. Item A1, discussion and consideration to adopt resolution to allow 2 additional board members to expand gravity drainage district number 2 from 5 to 7 members, and request legislative representation to amend state law according and publish mandates in the official journal. Mr. Talbot.
I don't know if y'all remember, several years ago, there was a effort by the previous councilman, to replace one of the members on Gravity Drainage District 2. And then the way these boards are formed, or the way the members are chosen, they can go get 25 signatures from the landowner, and, you know, they can get themselves reappointed. In talking, the 5 guys that serve on that board are great guys. They're pillars of the community. They've been there, you know, some of them, 2 of them since the beginning. But they were all around when Hector was a pup, and they're, you know, I mean, and so consequently, they've got tons of knowledge, but, you know, the way the board's structured and the way the appointment situation is done, it's hard to get young guys in there for them to share their knowledge with. So in discussion with the board about this situation, I kind of proposed to them that we expand the board so that we could put a couple young guys on it, and they can kind of share their knowledge with them about, I mean, you talk to them about a ditch in their district, and they can tell you when it was dug or why it was dug and when a culvert was put in there, and, you know, why they did it. And, you know, they just need to kind of you know, they kind of need to pass that knowledge on. And so I explained to them what I thought we could do. They were strongly in favor of it. I went and sat down with our Senator Dale Erdy, last Tuesday morning in his office, and we discussed, because it is a local bill, there's a pre-filing and some advertising stuff going on. And he basically told me that if we get a resolution from the council approving this, he would file the bill at the legislature. And so I'm asking that we pass a resolution requesting him to do that, and we'll expand that board from 5 to 7. That's got to be done at the legislature, because that board was created by the legislature. And that'll give us the ability to put a couple younger guys on there and start, you know, gaining some knowledge from the older guys and see how the board works and how it runs, and move forward. He just wants a resolution, and the Senate will actually draft it, run the ad for us and everything. We don't have to do anything. We just need to say that we want to expand it from 5 to 7, and they'll handle all that for us. Yes, ma'am.
Just want to clarify, this does not affect any of the other gravity drainage districts.
No,
just
this
number
is
2.
specific to number 2.
That's it.
You have any ideas for guys you have on there? I
You know,
would like to see on there.
there's actually a young guy that lives in my district that works for DOT, and he's an engineer. And I've already kind of approached him, would he consider it? Because, look, let's face it, you know, we run a lot of stuff through DOT ditches. You know what I'm talking about? And to have somebody that worked for DOT to give some insight as to their, you know, what they think with respect to getting ditches cleaned out, and what they feel they're, you know, they don't feel that their ditches are designed to drain the community. They're designed to drain those particular roads. And so, you know, to have somebody that would share that insight at an engineering level, I think would be an asset to the board. I mean, that's just, that was what I was thinking. Some people that would, you know, engineer backgrounds or, you know, that type of stuff to provide additional you know, have some knowledge, and then learn about what's going on within the district and you know, the past history of the district is what I was thinking.
Well, isn't that partially in my district? Shouldn't I get one of them appointments on that board, you think?
We'll talk about that.
I didn't have to throw you out.
I need a motion.
I know you picked the right guys.
Motion to adopt.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbot, second. Second by Mr. Harris. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? Ms. Sandy, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Garlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
All right, item A2, adopt a resolution to allow board members to consolidate sewer districts number 1 and number 2, and now to be known as the Livingston Parish Sewer District, to expand their current 5-member board to 7 members. Request legislative representation to amend state law according and publish mandates in the official journal. Mr. Talbot.
This is the final piece of that needs to be done. If you remember when we first talked about merging, we talked about every councilman having representation within the district, that the district touched their feet. We currently, the way the state law is set up and the way this board was formed, we've got 5 members max. This is a way to do the finish housekeeping on this merger. We just asked the legislature, or asked Senator Erdy to file, to expand it from 5 to 7. Then every councilman that's touched by this sewer district will have an appointment. As the sewer district grows, we just go back and amend that again to add a council, an appointment. Because we talked to him about, preparing for the future, and his recommendation was, if we're touching 7 districts now, then let's make it 7. And then as we expand, we just go back to the legislature and ask them to amend it at that point in time. So I'm just asking that we pass the resolution requesting the Senator Erdy to file the legislation to amend the sewer district from 5 members to 7.
I second that motion.
Is that a motion, Mr.?
Y'all make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbot, second by Mr. Wasson. Any discussion from the audience? Any further discussion from the council? Ms. Stanton, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Lobel?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Garlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yeah.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Did he say, excuse me,
Yes.
when you talked to Senator Erdy, did he mention when that would pass? Had to go to the legislative session?
Basically, this is a fiscal session, so local bills can be pre-filed. So basically, Sandy's gonna get this resolution to his office on Monday. Then they'll submit it to the Senate, and they'll start writing. They've got some people over there that write the bills for them. They'll write the bills. His legislative aide will the Senate will do the advertising for us. So to get it all pre-filed and advertised before the session starts, it'll be handled through the session. At that point in time, depending on how the statute's written, they all take effect at some point in time. Sometimes they take effect on the signature of the governor. Sometimes they take effect at some date in the future. I don't know how they're gonna write the deal. At that point in time, when the appropriate date comes, be it signature of the governor or the designated time when all new state laws start after a legislative session, at that point in time, we'll be notified and we can appoint our 2 people.
And what other
It should happen within this year, sometime after the session, before the end of the year, it'll all be done. And then we'll have appointments for district,
That's my question. What other council members are going to get?
Bubba and Jeff Avery at this point in time. Because Tabs and Shane's district are not touched by that current district.
Yet.
But it's gonna grow.
But it's gonna grow.
It's the beginning of a great thing.
And at that point in time, we'll go back to legislature and ask them to fix it.
Get the sewage out of the ditches, guy. Where you do it?
All right.
Wait, I got something to say.
Of course. I was just sitting here thinking how much longer John doesn't mind taking now that he's not sitting in the chair. Am I the only one who noticed that? No. I have a motion to adjourn by Mr.
I really have something to say.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. No, there's an ordinance committee meeting Monday at 9 o'clock, and I just wanted to make sure that the public knew they were invited. We're going to discuss the gun range ordinance, and we're going to discuss the subdivision ordinance, some changes to section 13-.55. Yeah, it's going to be a great meeting. I'm excited about it.
Keep going, I got candy in my mouth.
Oh.
And some of us work, and so we can't make that,
Any further
Good, good work.
I don't know.
Good work. I have a motion by Mr. Hart, second by Mr. Mack. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?